I feel like I woke up on the correct side of the bed this morning because I'm in a pretty good mood. Let's just make sure everything is all good. Yes, I am live on YouTube now. Hope everyone can hear me okay. Last stream we did was all about iOS development hardware. Today we're going to just take a little bit of a chill break and try and recreate some more Dribbble designs in SwiftUI. We might only get through one today. I do have work to get to after this, but we'll see how we go. Let's take a look at some mobile designs and we'll just get straight into it. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat and I will get to them. Okay, so we've done this one. They don't seem to get updated all that often, it seems, or unless like the popular ones, they filter them to the top and then any new ones just don't show up. So we've done this one as well. Hello, yes. It's like you're waiting for me to go online. Excuse me. Let's keep going. I'm trying to find something kind of novel and new, and I don't know. There will come a point where we can't really do too many more of these because we've kind of done everything, right? So this one here, receiving notification. Good to see you. Oh, it's good to have you on. I hope everything is going well. I mean, this one's kind of cool, but we've already done like the whole circular thing before. This is just some tiles with switches on them. We could go something easy today. Maybe we should, because a lot of times when I pick something that's a little bit too difficult, it ends up taking me way longer than it should. Oh, this calculator is kind of interesting. Hang on a sec, there's something going on with my music. Okay. Turn that down. All right. Maybe it's just another list, you know, with some tiles in it. This one's a little bit more interesting because we've got this sort of cutout above, but again, it's the same sort of thing. And we did this one too, remember? On one of the previous streams, we did this screen. Maybe we should do something like this one. This list with these little drop downs. I'm getting some ideas. Although there's also the glassy look. We could try going for something like that too. It's not a bad idea. I kind of feel in this middle one. Yes. And I wonder if we could sort of replicate this horizontal scrolling imagery at the top. And maybe we can reuse the top image under the background to give it that blur effect. I don't know. What would this be called? This is a co-working space design concept. Okay. All right, let's keep that in the back of mind. I do like that one. I've reached the end of the list. Okay, well, maybe that's all we can do. We're gonna just run out of designs to get through. Okay. What do we got on filters? No. Okay, let's do this one. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll just create this project off screen in Xcode. I'm going to give it, and of course I'll add this to the repo with all the others, so you can jump in there and take a look. Co-working space design concept. Okay, so what if we call it co-worker? No. I'll just call it co-working space. I'm not feeling very imaginative today, so we've got we'll not include tests, and I do not need to create a Git repository because we've already got one. So let me just find where that is. SwiftUI recreation. So in there at the moment we've got the budget app we did. We've got the cafe finder. What was the cafe finder? I don't remember. We've got the fitness app, the one that was all neomorphic and stuff, and then a weather app. Cafe finder. Oh, that was the one we did with the maps, right? Yeah. Cool. Okay. Bring this across and we start from scratch. Are we going to bother today with restructuring our folder over here? I don't know. Probably not. Let's just get this one into view, and we're going to have to grab some images from somewhere. I can do that off screen and I'll drag them in. I do have a subscription to a service where I can get some stock photos and stuff. But of course there's also those free websites. It's just that the free websites, you tend to take much longer to find sort of the kind of thing you're looking for. I could also generate it in Stable Diffusion. I've got it set up on my other computer. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Let me just... you won't be able to see this, but I'll just tell you my prompt and I'm throwing it in, and then we'll get some imagery of like a, I don't know, co-working space or something. Let's see if it knows what a co-working space is. We're just waiting on the model to finish. Let's get rid of that. I feel like Apple went through a lot of trouble of making this panel do what it does, but I find that I don't even use it. Okay, let's call it, let's see if it knows what co-working space is, right? Let's just see what it comes up with. Okay, so we have at the top, looks like we're going to have a scroll view here. So let's just change this to that scroll view. And it looks like we've got a navigation bar up there. We probably won't go with the navigation bar itself. It'll be something that we'll end up hiding. If this was like deeper into a bigger app, right, we'd hide it and we'd replace it with just the two buttons at the top above the image. Come here, Maple. Alright. She's come to visit. Okay, so yeah, while the Stable Diffusion is doing its thing, and I'll just keep jumping back to the other screen, and I'll just keep adding new prompts, so we've got a couple of images at least. And these will be 512 by 512, and we'll just chuck them into the assets catalog. And we have another dog visiting. Okay, so scroll view. I think what we'll need also is a Z stack somewhere. It might need to be, because we're going to have a scroll view, and then in here there's going to be another scroll view, right? So I think that's how that'll work. Okay, so we've got an office front. I mean, it's fine. Let's make it cartoonified, colorful. Let's see what that brings up for us. It was just like the glass doors of the front of a building. You couldn't really tell what it was. I want something a little bit nicer. This is a good picture to have. It's kind of colorful and stuff. Let's see if we can get something colorful we can use on our app. Okay, so yeah, at the top, and then in here we'll probably need a scroll view. This is for the scrolling images, right? And then on top of those here we're going to have the back, and it looks like a bookmark button. So that's for the top section. Now, I think the interaction we kind of want here feels to me like kind of want this bit to scroll, kind of want the whole thing to scroll, I guess. But we'll keep the top section. So what we'll do is maybe we'll have like a background for these buttons, and we'll set the opacity to something like 0 when it's scroll all the way down, and then when you start scrolling up, we can change the opacity. I think that'll look okay. I'm not gonna do anything too fancy with like stretching the header like we used to do in the old days. Okay, so this is an image we got. Let me. It's on my other computer, so I'll have to save this to the desktop, and I'll show you. Let's just let's do. Ooh. Okay, let me show you this thing. This is what we've got. This is what Stable Diffusion generated for us when I said co-working space exterior. So it looks like everyone's sitting outside at their computers, so that's okay, I guess. It's a little bit. It's not great. Let's keep going. Okay, yeah. So I'm not going to do anything too fancy with the header. I'm going to try and get the side scrolling working here. So what we need to do is change this to horizontal. This other one's going to be vertical. And I think we can get rid of this now. Doggy is leaving the room. And let me bring back YouTube so I can see your messages and stuff if they come through. Okay. All right. And on the Mac, I'm using an app called Diffusion B. So that's one, you just go to Diffusion B website, you download it, and it'll just work straight away. You don't need to set up any scripts or anything like that. You don't need to download Python. It's all housed within the one app called Diffusion B. So if you want to play around with that, you can. It also has the ability to add your own models to it. So it'll come with the standard Stable Diffusion one, but then you can add your own to it as well. Yeah, look, I'm just going to go with like a bunch of some of these images that we've got. Keep generating. I'll get like 3 or something done. And I'll save them to my desktop, and then, so here's another one. It's already come across. So yeah, I don't really care too much about the content. Let's just go with it. Okay. All right. Back and bookmark button, which will be in a H stack, and we'll set a background on that. But let's get something showing over here, right? So what should we do? Let's get rid of the padding. If anything, we probably want it to like fill the entire screen. But in the top, let's add some buttons. So here we'll have our label, which looks to be just an image, and system name is chevron left. Is that correct? There it is there, a little button at the top, if you can see that. Move this across just a little bit. Get this out of the way. Expand the screen. Okay. Yeah, these images are not great, but I'll show you the next one. We'll go with 3, and then I'll stop being distracted by them, but look at this. Yeah, it's even got someone's signature there. Anyway, we'll go with that. Get some coffee. Okay. Put a little spacer in there. Then we'll do another button. And for this label, it looks like it's the bookmark thing. I'm hoping we can just go with system name bookmark. I don't know this one, the label for this one. Let's try bookmark. Yeah, that's good enough. Let's go fill. Yep. Can this thicken if we go fill on that? No, that's not a thing. That doesn't exist. Okay. And then so on the outside of this H stack, we will add some padding. Yep. And what I want to do is remove this, and I'll just put it down into another var, and I'll just call this the header. so it's out of the way. And then we'll drop the header here inside this Z stack. Yeah, so it's sitting on top of the scroll view where these images are going to go. So we've done that. The background, let's put on. So we've got the padding, then we put the background. And I think what we should be doing here is like a thin, let's go with ultra thin material. You won't see it yet because we haven't got anything behind it. And then we're going to set the opacity here. I'm just going to put this as a reminder. It's set to 1 at the moment, so we'll see it. But I want to change that value based on the scroll position of this. All right. Let's see if that works. So next step. In our horizontal scroll view, we need to throw in some images, right? And I think there is a scroll view style or something we can do to make this paged. Is that right? Let me do a Google search. Right, it's got to be a tab view. So let's switch it to a tab view. And then we go tab view style. Yeah. What do we got? Hang on. Tab view style. Page. That's it. We want it to be paged. Oh, did you see that for a second there? We've got like got a little bit of a background going on. We'll change this to paging, and then in here we'll set our images. We'll have 3 of them, right? And then we got to add those to our assets here. So let's add a new folder. It's always good to use folders in here if you can. And I'll just call this header images. I like to use this naming convention. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got the little underscore in between. I like to do that for all my images. And then in here we go, oh, let's add 3 of them. And this one will be header 1, header 2, header 3. Let's throw those in to header images. And another thing I like to do, I think most people prefer to put like fill out 1, 2, 3 in these. Even like 1x, it's not even really much of a thing anymore because I think almost every single device is 2 times or 3 times these days. But I like to just set them all to single scale, because what generally happens is we go individual scales and then a designer will only give me like the 2x value, 2x images. And so then I've just got like this setup where it's, you know, only the center ones are filled. So I just go single scale, and I think this equates to a 2x image in here. Oh, you want to get down now. All right, off you go. It's not ideal because what will happen is when you upload your app to the store and you've got all these filled out, it'll strip out the ones, like when a end user downloads the app, it'll strip out the ones that aren't required for their device and then keeping the app smaller. So using these is great. But like I said, I tend to not worry about it too much. I think the savings there aren't massive, and then, you know, anyone with 3x screen can use a 2x anyway. And most of the images here, like the resolutions that I have at 2x are like over 1,000 anyway, if it's like for a photo. So it's not that big of a deal. I wonder if that light is distracting. Okay, so let's drop these in. So just throw that one in there, this one in there, that one there. Cool. Now this is like kind of the ideal situation. So if we're pulling these images from an API, they might be all different sizes, aspect ratios. But lucky for us, they're all the same, they're all square, and we can get away with treating them all exactly the same. We don't need to do anything like worry about setting certain aspect ratios and resizing and stuff, because it's all going to be the same. So for this one, we're going to put in header 1, and we'll just see how that looks to start with. Okay, so I think what we need to do is we'll make some changes to this in a second. Resizable, yeah. Let's not, maybe we don't bother with that, because what we're trying to do to expand the size of this. Let me add another image. Let's add these all in here and see what we come up with. Okay, so we do have a little swipey thing, so that's working. As far as what I think the design should be doing, it's working, but it is a bit short, and that's, I think it's because it's being cropped to the size of the header, right? And we don't want that to happen. We kind of want this to take precedence. So let me just experiment with a couple of ways of doing this. I think, let's see if we can do a, not sure if this will work. Because the tab views are generally used for like full screen, and then you put content inside them. So I'm not sure how these are supposed to behave. It looks like it's just getting squashed to whatever's on top, you know, in the Z stack here. So I don't know. Let's see what we get. So there's no change there. No change there. What if, this is the thing, you kind of got to experiment just a little bit here. Setting the heights on these, no good, it still gets cropped. I wonder if we throw this here, still getting squashed down a little bit. Oh, okay, maybe I need to go tab item. It's probably not going to make a difference. That's for when we've got a tab view across the bottom. Okay, first little issue we're running into here is the size of this. And it seems to like it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that it was in a Z stack. What if it's got the problem lies in being within a scroll view. Okay. If I just set the frame. Okay, so like I said before, since we know the height of these images, maybe we just go with a hardcode value here, right? So maybe something like 400 might be good. And we want to push this up, right? So maybe, is this the way to do it? We go from this? No, let's go from the other angle. Let's go here. Yeah. Okay, so 400 seems a bit high. All right, so what I want to do is remove this and throw this back into the Z stack. Okay. The header is centered, that's good. So I think what we can do is change the alignment here and we say top. Puts our content at the top. And then I think what we can do with the insets, let me see, safe area inset edge. No. No. We need... I need to put some padding down here. I want want scroll view to push its content up to the edge. But I want the insides of it to be like sticking to the insets, the edge insets, right? So what does this say? Safe area inset shows the specified content above or below the modified view. No. If we set this up, interesting. How do we make this work now? How do you say none? how do you turn it off? Oh, this isn't great. All right. And it looks like we're missing the background materials here that I added. Because what we need to do is have that on these buttons as well, right? So we need to do like a bit of a padding here around them and then add this kind of background style. But it seems like it's not picking up what's underneath. Let's try ultra thick and see if we're just missing something here. No, it's not making a difference. All right, that's okay. All right, let's fix this up. Okay, this is better. Ultra thin material. Awesome. Okay, so let's do a clip shape on this and we'll go with a rounded rectangle and let's say we go 10. It's kind of, oh, it's a bit higher than that, isn't it? So we go 15. 15 and we'll set the padding to maybe something a little bit smaller and then yeah, we'll go a corner radius of 10. You can kind of see that up there. That sort of works. I think ultra thin is a bit much. We need to go like maybe a thin material. That looks very close. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I think what we can do is get away from because I get the sense that maybe because we want the header to be sticky, right? So it shouldn't even be in here anyway. So I think we'll solve the issue where it's not where it's like too far off. So what we can do is we'll throw the scroll view into a Z, or what we can do is just do like a overlay. Maybe we do an overlay, and we'll put the header in there, right? So it's at the bottom, and then on the alignment, we can set it to the top. I should stick it to the top, and that kind of solves our problem what we're having before, right? And I think what we're going to do now is like when we scroll, we'll fill in this whole header if we can. Okay, so that's probably the trickiest thing of the entire the entire project. When we scroll up, we want to get those. We want to know when this is happening and change the opacity. Can we do that? Is that even possible in SwiftUI? So now we get this reader and we get a proxy, but the only thing we can do on the proxy is set, like we can only go scroll to, right? SwiftUI scroll view offset. Oh, okay, we got to use, yeah, okay, we got to use preference keys and stuff like that to get it. Okay, so this will be a first for us, I think, on any of these streams, using the preference keys and a geometry reader. I try to avoid geometry readers as much as possible because they do, like, make things more difficult. They behave in unexpected ways, but let's go with that. So I think what we can grab, yeah, this should be okay. So what we want to do is, I'm just going to grab this code that I've got over in another browser, and we'll see how this goes for us. We might have to change it up a bit. So we want to grab the offset. It's a named, okay, got it. And they're doing something here with a color, so you can't see it. Preference. Scroll view. Okay, my dog's back, hang on. Okay, she wants to sit on my lap again. Interesting. Got it. Let's try this one instead. Looks a little bit more clear. So let's just dump this. I just found another answer. Sorry. We're just going to replicate that. Let me grab this and I'll throw it in chat. Give credit to the correct people who have helped out. Yeah, cool. Okay, we have yeah, so in the header up here is where we will do the opacity. I'm not going to do it down here. I feel like it should be up here. And the background on this is what the opacity needs to be set on, because if we set it on the entire thing, it won't actually do anything. So this makes sense. So let's grab, and the background style is not working because we use style, we need to use background. So there we go. We've got our little blurry background up there. You can see when the content goes underneath, the background changes, which is good. kind of what we're after. But we want it so that when it sits in this neutral position or you pull down, it will be gone. It won't be there. So we need to make this change, which means we need to do something in here, right? Which would be like opacity here. We can set that to 0 and that disappears. Okay, so this value here is the one we need to update depending on the offset of the scroll view. Okay, we can do this. What do we got? Let me copy what the code we've got here, and then we'll just see what comes from that. They've got another background element here. I think that might be to hide what's going on, and I think it's in here because, yeah, when this scrolls, yeah, this makes sense. It's got to be inside the scroll view, I think, so we can pick up those changes, right? So we go geometry reader, and we'll go. Well, yes, they haven't even got it set up here with the property pass through, so they're just going straight with a $0. And we need to create a preference key, which is view offset key. So let's call this scroll view offset key. It makes more sense. Preference key, and we'll go. See what it tells. Yeah, type alias value is CG float. It's always been a CG float, even in UI kit for the offsets. Default value is 0. And we'll go static function reduce value plus equals next value. Okay. I think maybe we go into that on another video, what all this is and how to use these. I kind of like that idea. We can do a whole video on this, on the preference keys. And we go scroll view, offset key, self, and this should be key. And the value is frame in named scroll. We'll go minimum Y. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way, right? It's kind of don't even need that panel anymore. And then I think what we need to do is further down here, and we say on preference change. Scroll view offset key, self perform. Yeah, and let's just go with well, we don't need to print because we're not using. So what they're doing here is they're printing out the changes. So I don't think we need to really worry too much about that actually. All right. So what we need to do now is set. Oh, yeah, okay. So we can change that here, right? So we can go. We need to detect when the preference has changed. And so, yeah, so we need to do it this way. Scroll, view offset key, self, value changed. And then we want to set this somewhere, right? So that we can pick it up down here in the opacity value. So let's go with header background opacity, CG float, and we'll set this to 1. So we should be able to see this as I dump this in here. Yep, set to 1. And then when the value changes, we'll set it to that new opacity, right? So header background opacity. This is going to happen very quickly, I think, because, you know, opacity is from 0 to 1, but when we scroll, it's going to be like every pixel we move is going to be a 1. So it's going to disappear real quick if this works. See where we get to. Self is up. Make that a state. All right. So it's gone. Oh, hey, it works. It works. Okay, so look at this. You just scroll a little bit. Like I said, you scroll by 1 pixel, it's going to just change it to a 1. And then, anyway, watch. Look at that. How cool is that? Hey, we did it. It's kind of like, that's exactly what we wanted. Amazing. Okay. Hang on. Calm down, everyone. I know it's super exciting. What if we change it to 100? If we divide the number by 100, it gives us a little bit more of a fade, right? But I don't know. That's probably not too much because it kind of gets to where it needs to be before the image is gone, right? And the whole reason why we're setting this background is so that when there's like, see, we got text. You can see where my cursor is. We got text down here. You don't want these buttons kind of like sitting on top and covering that text. You kind of need like a background to. You'll see what I mean later. But yeah, I think the slow fade is kind of nice. But we can change this to whatever, right? We can go 50 and then make it happen a little bit sooner. Like that feels. This feels more. Oh, you can't even see it. Hang on. Oh, can you see it? Yeah. I'm covering the view myself with the. There we go. I couldn't see it, but you could. If you scroll, yeah. That feels more natural to have it blend at that rate with the value of 50. And then we get a bit of the nice like colors from the image underneath. I think versus 100 where it's like a bit too slow, maybe. Where are we at with 20? Too soon. Too soon. 50 is good. 50 feels like a good. I could be here all day. 70. No, too much. 50 is good. All right, cool. That's working. Super happy with that. That's great. That's the first time I've ever done that. Cool. And I mean, the buttons, these could be bolder, right? I think we can go in and change the font. Is that how that works? Oh, no. But setting to bold makes it a little bit easier to see. I think in a real app, you'll play around with these values a little bit more and you'll be able to see it a little better. But I mean, like that's fine. That's good. I like that. And then in the background here, so we got this ultra thin material, which is what we're overlaying, like that comes into focus. It might make sense to put like a title, like a nav title up there. When you fade in, you can see what that title is. But you know, that's not in the current designs. Maybe later. I think what we could do is like once it reaches a certain threshold, the this text appears up there. It has its own opacity value, right? And maybe it appears when this disappears. So you've always got like the name of the venue at the top. Anyway, let's move on to something else. So our entire top section is done. We could move this into another, just to get it out of the way, right? Do we want to do that? Yeah, let's get rid of it. Header buttons. Let's call them header buttons, and then this one will be the header images. And then up here we go header buttons. And at the top we go header images. Yeah, that still works. It's all good. And we can still do our little scrolly thing. We got some weirdness here with the overlap. you can see that there's a bit of an overlap. It just sort of like pops out of view. That's because we're not like clipping these images. I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to worry about that. That's something for someone else to do. That's easy enough to fix. We can fix another way by just making these completely square, but you can see they're not. They're sort of cut off, so they're going to overlap. And that's because we've set the height to something like 350 and not 512, which is the size of the actual images. So you can see that there's no, oh no, it's still there. Still getting a little bit of a, it's even worse. Interesting. Forget it. Let's move on. Waste the time. We got to do this quick. That's the whole point of these videos, right? Get through it quick. So the text, the title here, let's go with title. No, let's go location name. Do we want to, you want to create a model object? We haven't done that before, have we? Let's do that. I'm just going to pre-fill all these, right? Happiness Cafe Roastery. Another value we've got here is the rating, and I think there's some fancy, we can do some fancy stuff with the rating, right? Like, so at the moment they've got, looks like they round it to the number of stars. We could have it so that like we have an overlay over the top that gets clipped so that you can have like 4.5 stars, 4.1 stars. We could do something like that. We haven't done that before. But let's just go with like a value out, like an integer to start with. All right, so this one before. And then we've got an array for facilities. Now the way we're going to build this array isn't going to work for like more than 4. So we're going to hard code these values that we've got here in the designs. But if you were to rebuild this, you would have to like maybe make the facilities bar scrollable. If there was more or less, maybe we will do that. I don't know. So each facility is its own type. So we've got it's its own type because it's going to have an image and some text, right? And I feel like if you were to tap on one of these, maybe it goes to another screen explaining what that is. Like AC, what's AC? You know, it might just. Whoa, hang on. Stop it, Siri. Stop it. Yeah, it could give you like a little bit extra info on what air conditioning and Wi-Fi and all that sort of stuff is, perhaps. So what we got is, oh, this will be nothing. We're going to go with, trying to go with system image. And then we're going to have title, which is another string. And then up here, we're going to throw a few of these in here, right? So this is going to be a facility. And then we just want to populate a couple in here. The system image will be, let me take a look at FSF symbols. Let's see if we can grab a couple. We can throw in there. We got, I think we can just do straight up Wi-Fi. Yeah, excellent. Title. We'll do 2. No, it's a snowflake, right? Snowflake. Yes, we do have snowflake. All right. Let's got that array filled, and then we've got menu, review, and contact. If this were a real app, I would assume that these, hang on, let me move myself out of the way just for a second. These values probably going to be dynamic in a real app. So I would assume that not every location will have a menu, because this is supposed to be like a co-working space. design concept, so they might not even have food at some of them. Address, that's another one. We need to put the address in there. We're just going to go with the string for this. We're not going to use any coordinates or anything. Oh, man. Is this a real place? Okay. And then, yeah, so we'll have a segmented control. It seems like this will be another array of some kind, right? Ooh. It's getting complex now. So if I was building this for real, I would use a protocol for these, and then each of these will be a different type on its own, right? So like we might have, so if we go struct, menu would be it. I would assume that this app would have access to maybe 5 or 6 or something different items that could be dropped into here, depending on the venue's preferences and what they want to show on this screen. And it would be a protocol of some sort, right? So it would be like tabbable or something. And then these would go into an array of, or we could be like, tabbable items, and then you would have like an array of tabbable things here, and then you'd pass them through, like you would initialize this, and one might be menu, the next one will be reviews, the next one will be contact details, and these will all conform to tabbable, right? And then what you would do is you would generate a view, like each one of these one of the requirements for tabbable might be that there's a view associated with it. And then you can just drop that straight in with everything filled out. Now that I've spoken about it, I always do this. I'm like, oh, if I was doing it for real, I'd do that and then not do it. But I always end up doing it. So let's just go for it. Let's try it. There's no special reason why I'm calling it tabbable. I just feel like these are tabs. That's why I called it that. There's probably a better name for that. Tabbable. Yes. Wait. Some type cannot return typeable. Did you mean unassociated? Oh, hold up. What am I doing here? Should this be a function? Some type. Is this the correct way of doing it? Protocols cannot require properties to be immutable. Declare reader. Right. It's gonna be a var. Hang on. We're getting there. Property program must have explicit get a set. Yes, that is correct. No, let's make it a get only. Because the item will generate the view itself. Now we don't have access to the review or content. We've only got like, do we? No. So we've only got like what the menu looks like. So we're just going to be able to do the view for the menu. The rest will just have text. It will just be like, this is the reviews or something. That's the text we'll have in there. Must be written as any view. No, we kind of want, like, can I do some view? Surely I can. Some type cannot be the return type of protocol requirement. I don't know enough about content might work, right? Content. That's sort of how you make your own views that have like the closure thing going on, right? With your associate. I'll do that in another video. It's where you kind of like create your own views and you've got like content. You use like generics and stuff, I think. Pretty sure that's how that works. Okay, so this does not conform to tabbable, so we need to set up. Does this work? All right, and then we go. No. View. Yes. Okay. Cool. All right. So we've got our view here. A menu struct is just going to be a data type, and it will have a list of menu items. It's getting messy here. And menu item could be another protocol, like have another protocol on it, which might be purchasable, right? And then purchasable could be anything, right? Like, so we might have menu for food, which sells food items that are purchasable. And then perhaps like in a full-fledged app, we would have another tab, which is like merch or something. And those two would be purchasable in their own way. So we could use protocol for that, but let's not worry about that this time. Menu item will just have a, the image will be a string so we can reference it. In a real app, it's probably going to be like a URL. I'm going blurry here. And then I think what we'll do is title, description, and then of course we'll have a price, and it should be, you should try and use decimals, so you don't get all those like weird rounding errors and stuff, but let's just go with integer. You can use integers too, and just have all your prices in cents. Yeah, let's just go with that. And then so on the menu, we're going to have items, which is an array of a menu item. And let's add one in there, which is this berry gelato. Cool, co-working space with like ice cream. That's pretty good. Double flavors of berry. And the price is, we're just gonna go with 25 for that. And then when we create the view, it looks like it's gonna be one of these tiles, right? So, but because we're working with like the full array, we have access to the full array. What we could do is we could put a view down here on the menu item and have it generate its own tiles. And then in here, all we need would be like a scroll view with horizontal, like a H stack. But I'm just going to generate the entire thing in here with for each. So what we need to do, your face is in the way. Oh, sorry. Okay. Thanks for that. I forgot to move it back. You can kind of see, let me move over here. I'll just move over here for now. So you can see the bottom, what I'm doing here. Let's get rid of this as well. So we get this compiling. We need, yeah, so we're hard coding the values here for the menu items, but what you would, oh, just turn it back on again. Well, you can do it. Take it out of the fridge. Hang on 1 second. Okay. Baking bread again today. So, where was I? I think this will go away once we fill this out. Oh, we need a scroll view. Use the protocol tabbable as a type must be written as any tabbable. Sure. I'm sure that won't come back to bite us later. Okay, so HStack. And inside the HStack, we've got a ZStack followed by a HStack. So this is probably why you might want to move this portion of it, everything inside the ZStack here into the menu item, so that it cleans things up just a little bit. It is a bit weird to have your model objects create views for you, but I do that fairly often. It keeps a lot of like all this junk out of your main view. And especially if like I'm working with protocols and stuff, I'll do it. Because it's nice being to have like your tabbable items create themselves, which is kind of fun. Okay, so we've got the HStack, we've got our image, which will be our, we need for each. And in here we've got our items. Menu item in, and then we drag this into here. Cool, and the image will be menu item, image, and then we do our little, resizable, and then we go aspect, we go fit, and then we set, I don't know, we'll set a size on it. So we'll say this will be, make it square, so we'll have, I don't know, it looks about 70. And then we'll go clip shape, and we'll make this, what does that look like? We'll go for another 10. And then after that, we have our VStack for our content, that's like the title. Oop, menu item, title. Underneath that, we have our description, and then we have price, which I think what we'll do is, ideally you'd have like, correct regional pricing and stuff here, but we're building this as quickly as possible. So price. Looks like the title could be a font of, I don't know, headline. Description would be foreground color. We'll set this to a secondary. It's gray. Foreground color would be the accent color. Let's just go with that. Okay, so referencing for each requires that menu item conform to, yeah. So let's make this identifiable. And I think it would be important to have an ID here as well. It's generally how they come from a backend, like menu item, they'll have an ID, because sometimes, well, there's nothing here that's sort of unique. You might have a few different berry gelatos. You might have, they're all with all the same description, same pricing, maybe. So we get a build. Okay. What have we got going on? So the next thing is we need to use this in our main view. So if I scroll back down, we'll move all this into another file. So let's scroll back down, and we'll go to where we've got this set up. So we've got header. We got our, okay. So we got like a little text thing here. Let's throw in. Well, obviously we're going to go through all this content first before we get to this tab views. We need to add, what do we got? Venue. Okay, generally this will be passed in to this view, but I think we've got everything set up, hard-coded, so we can just use it directly. And then what you would do is like, you've got all these already hard coded, but maybe you create an initializer here. So actually, a lot of this will probably come from an API, right? So all these, once you've finished like doing your design and stuff in SwiftUI, you can grab all these values, don't throw them away, and then put them in like a function which is like populate for testing or something, and then when you run that, it'll fill all these up. Or you could have like a test or previewable or something, and it will just return another venue, and then you could just return. In this case, we can just go like that because these are already there. But this is where you would like use the initializer on venue and then populate it with all this. And then that way, when you're like running your previews, and then you want to pass through, like on the content view here, maybe we want to pass through the venue, we can use our testable version down there, or a previewable version. But we're not doing that today. So keep going. I know I'm jumping all over the place here, but we'll settle down in a second. I do have work starting in like 40 minutes, so got to get through this quick. All right. Where are we? Up here, we got our header images. Okay, so we've got our venue. Let me just test this out and make sure this all works. So if I go venue, cool. So our content is there. We've got something showing up. Let me just move this in just a little bit. Okay. I think I'm safe to jump back over the other side now. And what I'll do is I'll make myself a little bit smaller. Okay. So you should be able to see that. There is a floating button at the bottom too, but we might not even get to that stage. Okay. Cool. So our venue item works. So let's put in some text for our, so we go venue, and we want to call it the name, and we'll go font. And what's a good font for this? It looks like it might be a title of some kind. Might be title 2. Let's go with that. And we're going bold. I'm going to bold that. Cool. And then let's throw this in a V stack just to keep things a little bit separate. And that will allow us to do other stuff with the V stack. Like I want this glassy background. Like that was the thing that drew me to this to begin with, right? I think what it's going to end up being, if we go background and we go thick material, not on the V. Yeah, we want it on the V stack, don't we? You can kind of see how it's just like wrapped around that text. That'll change as we build this out. But I'm gonna leave this here as a reminder to try and make this work. It looks kind of okay already. It looks very gray. I think what we'll need to do is put like try and put maybe an image or something or a gradient behind the scroll view, if that's possible, or set it on the V stack. I don't know. I feel like we're trying to do a little bit too much here, but see how we go. Alignment. That should fix itself at some point. I'm hoping. Text. And we've got the venue, and we're going to go with our address. This is a H stack, so we do have like a little image, system name, and I think this will be a pin. Wrong pin. Map pin. Mappin. All right, let's do that. Oh man, I don't like that pin. I like the original one. Let's go with that. Foreground color, it looks to be secondary. Yeah. Okay, we'll get to doing some padding and stuff soon. Okay. Up here we've got, do we have a There's a bit of a gap there. We need to sort that out. The scroll view, I think the scroll view gives its own, so we might need to throw in another and set the spacing to 0 here. Because I think the scroll view adds spacing between items. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so we've just removed that, like, that gap at the top of this text. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. So we will add some spacing through this method. And then we can add some, we want to add padding before we do the background, because otherwise the background doesn't get applied to the areas where the padding is. Kind of getting there. Sort of looks okay. Let's grab this and throw that font color on the H stack so that we get this image colored to be secondary as well. So rather than having the foreground color on both of these items, we only need to put it on the enclosing view. So that's nice. I feel like this should maybe be a caption or a footnote, a little bit larger. Yeah, that's pretty good. This one here I'm going to use oh, it's always a bother. You set it to leading and it doesn't lead. Actually, I'm gonna use the rating for this. So let's keep going. So we do have another item on here we need to put on the venue, which is the price per hour, right? Price per hour. And we'll go with another int. Make this a little bit easier. So scroll back down. Okay, so we've got our H stack for our address, and then under here we're going to have another H stack, and this is going to have a spacer in the middle, and we're going to have our rating on the left and the price on the right. So we've got text, and then we set this to venue dot price per hour 150. Okay. Obviously, these values will be different depending on the country. We'll do the proper, you will have proper management in place for currencies. Per hour. Excellent. I believe this might be bold. Let's put it on the whole H stack and see how that affects the images we're about to put here, right? So if we go 4 each, see if we can get this to work. 0 to 5, count in, if, oh, how are we going to do this? If venue dot rating is less than or equal to count, we put hang on, we put, do we want to do, yeah, this is kind of what we want to do, right? We've got a star. It's not the same star, but it's close. We could use the images. Yeah, okay, let's do images. Do we want to do images? And we set, it'd be nice if we didn't have to double up on this, right? So like if I could just, oh no, we can do that. We can do that. Okay, so let's go for each of these. We want to add a star, right? And then what we do, we go foreground color, and then if count is less than or equal to venue.rating, we'll do a little ternary operator thing here. We set the color to, do we have a gold? Nah, yellow, or the color is secondary. Oh no, come on. Hang on a sec. We set 4. Hang on. Count. This is correct. If we change it to 1 to 5. Don't think, no, it won't let us do that. To 6. What have I done here? No, 6 is correct, because that will go 1 to 5. And I feel like the logic makes more sense if you go 1 to 1 less than 6, right? Because the ratings, in this universe, the ratings do not go to 0. So they start at 1, and then so we should start our counting at 1 for this array. And then, yeah, look at that. We got a little rating system. So if we come up here and we change it to like, I don't know, 2. We have 2 stars. Yeah, change it to 5. We got 5 stars. Excellent. Okay, this is kind of cool. So that's working fine. Let's go back to the prices, because this is kind of annoying me a little bit that we don't have this in here. Oh, that's the menu item. Oh, where are we? Well, I'm going to have to throw all that other stuff into another file, I think. It's getting a little bit busy up there. 150k per hour. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so the next section is facilities. That's not how you spell facilities. Cool. And then we'll go font, and I think we'll go do like another, I don't know, title 3. Then we'll put like a bold on that. Looks like we need some padding above it. Yeah. For the whole thing here too. So we got this VStack. I think what we need to make this really look like more like the designs is to go with horizontal padding on the whole thing as we push it in just a little bit. Let's add some more. Yeah, that's probably a bit better. Yeah, okay. So the facilities section. So this is like this thing with capsule. So it looks like it's going to be a H stack. What I'd love to do is like throw it in a scroll view so that they can just keep going off the screen, this section. But I think what we'll do is just go with the standard what we've got here. We've only got 2. The background on this capsule, the background on this will be a capsule. And it looks like it's just plain white. So what we can do is, I think we just keep it there, and then we can throw in our items here. So we've got, yeah, okay. It's a little bit tricky here because we've got these dividers and we only want them to be in between the items, not at the, like, the way we, this is how we usually set it, right? So if we went image, system name, we need to go for each here too. And we go venue, and we've got our facilities, facility in. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Hang on. Facility, and then we go system image, and then we go text, facility title, and then let's say we add the divider, right? What do we got? What do we got? Facility conform to identifiable. Where are we? Up here. So you can see, oh, you probably can't see it. It's very, very tiny. There is a tiny divider right here. And so we don't want to add the divider when it's the last one in the list, right? So if facility is equal to venue is, we'll say maybe is not equal to, right? Is not equal to venue facilities last. Equals say false. What have I done? What have I done? Okay, facility needs form to equatable. So that's easy enough to fix. All we need to do is hit this and just go like the ID on both of these, and we should be good to rebuild. Okay, and that little divider's missing. I know you probably can't see it, but it's not there anymore. So we've only got the one between Wi-Fi and AC. And these kind of look fairly similar to pretty much exactly the same, just about Wi-Fi. Let's change that. That's annoying me. Let's change that to, where is it? There we go. All right, and the background should, so we should set a fill on this, and it should be, I'm going to set it to system background, so that when we switch this to dark mode, we get it, it's black. We switch it to light mode, it's white, which is what we've got over here with the white there. Okay, so actually let's take a look at that real quick to see if we've got, do a little bit of a scroll. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's kind of working out in dark mode. Okay, so the next step is to add some padding. There we go. And we got extra spacing here, which is not kind of what we want. That's better. And I think this is okay. Centering it would probably be better, but I think in this case we can get away with this. Let's change the foreground color of these to the accent color. Yeah, so we make those nice and blue. And it's just informational at the moment, but I probably would, like in future, want to change these to buttons. There's, like, everyone knows what Wi-Fi and AC is, but there might be, maybe you want to filter, like you want to tap on one of these and then bring up a list of other places in the area that have that particular facility. Like these could be filters. Just an idea. You can see there's a nice little divider there. This all looks pretty good. I think we can move on to the next section, which is where we get to use the views that we created earlier for the menu. Okay, here we go. So if we go with no, it's a picker. Oh, I never know which one to go for with this, right? So it's selection, picker selection. And it is a can it be it needs to be, okay, this is where our idea is probably going to fall apart. No, it's not. No, maybe. What we got? because we're going to have different types here. We're going to have review. So we've only got menu set up, but we're going to have review and contact. Let's do those. Yeah, am I delaying the issues we have down for lower? Yes, I am. Let's call this reviews, contact. And then we need to have our review. And I'm just going to throw in some text. This is the reviews. I'm not going to fill these out because we don't have a design for that yet. Okay. All right. How am I going to get this working? Because I need to set kind of at a loss with this. I know I've done this before. So nothing, let's see if this, because it's not hashable, it might not work. What's it called again? Pick a selection. Content. What's this label? So nothing's going to work yet because we've got does not conform to hashable. That's fine. We can make it conform to that. Equatable. I'm going to do an extension, I think. Let's have a little play around here. See if we can get these functions to pre-fill for us. Come on. Cannot have an inheritance clause. We don't want to inherit. I think for the sake of this, we just get through this. Yeah. Or we can do this menu items. Yeah. We might need to wrap this. So like wrap the selection around. Is there another picker we can use instead? We have to have the selection set up, don't we? This is different. Cannot conform. Ooh, I think this is not gonna work. We might not be able to use a picker. This might be something we'll have to do ourselves. I wonder if we can make that happen, right? So let's regroup here. Oh my goodness, dog. Off you go, puppy. Yeah, let's regroup. Let's try something else. Let's do a H stack of buttons. Let's see how we go. See how far we get doing it this way, right? And then we'll change their selection state based on... Oh, hold up. Loud doggies. Yeah, we'll see how far we can get with this setup. So the trickiest part. For each, and then in here we need to put the venue, what is it called? Tabbable items. Tab in. What do we got? Identifiable. Tabble. Yeah. So let's do that. And then let's make it conform to identifiable. And that means these need to be identifiable, which is great. So what we can do is we can just set, we can set this with an ID. Should be okay. Let's come back down here, and then we've got type any table cannot conform to identifiable. Why can it not? Probably ID requires that self be a class type, but it's a protocol. Oh gosh. Let me do a search. Let's see if this is something many other people have run into. I think it'll be a state SwiftUI using a protocol. All right, let's see what we get here. I have multiple classes that I want to use budget picker view. They all have this budgetable protocol defined. This is basically exactly what I'm trying to do. All right. For example, this allocation class. Okay. First need to pass environment object. It's very set in the scene delegate. Okay, what do we call? Okay. Change below code. We've got budgetable. This does not work. Okay. State object. What have you got? Breakfast. Oh, I'll be done in a second. Yeah, thank you. Won't be long. Yeah, this is the last part. Once we get through this, we'll be finished, and I'll jump off stream because I have breakfast I need to get to, and I have work which starts in 10 minutes. But we're probably gonna go over. Oh well, I guess. So we've got, what do we got? This initializer up here. By SwiftUI concept, you are not allowed to work with state outside of view, but the following works well. How did they get that? Like, they've got this set up. It's asking for any. And then in here, you see that? Yeah, in here we've got no any set up there. So would adding that work? We don't need to know the selection, do we? For using array of buttons, we can do the selection based on their index. So the major problem we have here is these not conforming to identifiable, right? Type any, okay. All right, maybe that's the thing we need to do a search on. Does this work? Here we go. Learn SwiftUI, and I decided to write a simple password manager with learning exercise. I've defined a protocol with the common attributes in my passwords. Protocol, secret, codable, yeah. Then I've defined a couple of Swift structs. Okay. Yes, only SwiftUI for each requires identifiable performance. Array for each does not require it. There are several other initializers. So I think if we were to wrap this, this kind of work? I don't know. Still the same thing though, right? Tabble still not going to work. What am I trying to do here? So we've got for each that don't require your model type to conform to identifiable. You could use init data ID, okay, content escape. For instance, assuming that, okay. Another solution would be passing the indices of the array to for each, then you could use for each, yeah, but since you have a hashable property on secret that you can use the ID. That's the previous solution. Okay. Let's see how they've got this set up on their arrays and stuff, right? So they've got, so this is one of the structs, for each secret. Secret is an array. And that's kind of the setup we've got going on, right? So like if we go up to our, oh, because it's an any there. Can we get rid of that? Use of protocol, Tabble as a type must. This doesn't seem right. Still going to give me the same problem. How is everyone else getting away with this? What am I doing wrong? Anyone else know what I'm doing wrong here? What the problem is? Why is it asking me to change this to any? Like, what if I change this to... Again, it's any. Damn. Oh, I've got like 5 minutes. I have to go to this meeting. I don't think I'm going to get this done. Where value? What? I might have to come back to this. We'll split the stream. I'm gonna have to come back to this and finish this up, and do some research because I got work starting in like 4 minutes, and I've made zero progress with this. But if we can get this to work, it'd be really awesome, right? Because then we can just throw in whatever. Okay. Oh man. I think for now, let's just get this happening. So let's remove this. I'll put in. Let me go up here. Let's change this to table items. Let's just call this directly an array of menu, just so that we can get this something happening, right? So we can get something showing up in here, right? So I'm just gonna initialize this to a single menu item, and then in here we're gonna go venue, table items. View, and then see if we get something. So there's our thanks for your time, always great watching. Oh, thank you so much for saying that. So here we go. This is the view that we created for our menu item, right? So there's no image. The image is missing. I haven't added one yet. What we could probably do is do like the background. So we got, where is it? So we got menu up here, menu. The image, maybe we can change the image to background 1 and see how that changes things. If it does, it has not. That's okay. I'll come back. I'm gonna move. What I'll do is like off stream, I'll move all this content into other files so that we're not continuously scrolling up and down, because it can be like annoying watching someone just text scrolling up and down when you're like trying to follow what's going on. So I'm gonna move that to the file. Then it's all centered. So when we jump between files, they won't be scrolling. They'll just be like cuts, you know, from one file to the next as we go through them. We'll fix up the layout of these, and we'll add some more so that you can scroll through them. And I think so. We add another one now. Do we get that behavior? No, we haven't got any scrolling behavior yet, but you can see we've got 2 lined up. And then if we go over to our designs here, we've got this. It looks like you can sort of swipe to bookmark the item. I don't think that's necessary. But obviously when you tap on it, it'll probably open up another screen we can go and purchase and stuff. Then we also got like popular menu. So this is a part of the menu item view, like all this here. This is a part of the menu item view that will need to be created. And I just realized the reason for this is because we need to go horizontal, and that's why it's not scrolling, right? So now we got a little scroll. Can you see that? Yeah. Yeah, so it's coming together, it's getting there, but we really need to get the tabs working, and I'm gonna work out how to do that offline, then I'll come back on and I'll just do it, and it'll be much faster. So we might continue this hopefully tomorrow. But yes, it's 10:30 a.m. for me now. My meeting is starting, and I'm already late for it. So yes, thank you everybody for joining me today. I'll sort out everything with the links and descriptions and stuff like that, and then I'll push this code as well, along with where you can find this design, because we've got to give credit to people who created these things. Okay, see ya. I'm gonna go have breakfast. Bye bye.